Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 42 through 45 of RuYi's Royal Love. Some monks are welcomed to the palace to pray for everyone's health and a favorable end to the current war. Everyone is fawning over how handsome they are, and I mean, he's alright. When you have Wallace Hua as the main lead, I don't know why you expect me to be impressed with this guy. So the palace is a titter with news of the hot monks, and it's not just the maids, the concubines are also very thirsty.
还听说他年轻有为，相貌端正，令人一见如沐春风。
One maid, Ayr, even gets up the nerve to ask a monk for his prayer beads. The emperor starts to get jealous and plans to send them out of the palace ASAP. Imagine having all the power in the world and still being this insecure. One night, an intruder is spotted in RuYi's palace. The intruder ran off before anyone could see who it was, but he was dressed all in white. At first, it's assumed to be a failed assassin or possibly a thief, but when RuYi sees the emperor next, it's clear that this has all been part of another scheme. He asks if she's been visiting with the monks often, and she admits that she has. I mean, she's the head of the harem, it's kind of her job.
听说你最近常去安华殿祈福。
Jia quietly brings up that they must be pretty close since she's the only one getting gifts. Gifts? What gifts? Jia's maid brings in a bracelet that RuYi claims to know nothing about.
臣妾并未见过此物。
The maid says she saw the main monk talking intimately with RuYi and putting this bracelet on her wrist. She overheard the monk say it was a sign of his love. There's also a love note, written in RuYi's handwriting, claiming she wants to meet with him in private.
这又是何物？你从何而得？
Jia claims the guards who were chasing the intruder found these things after the intruder dropped them. The guards, of course, couldn't approach RuYi about it directly, so they went to Jia. So that intruder probably wasn't an assassin. Who else do we know who always wears white?
这字迹像是皇贵妃的。
So he's clearly actually doubting her. This is the first time he's even entertained one of these schemes. Beginning of the end. Jia suggests taking SuoXin in for interrogation to prove RuYi's innocence. RuYi, of course, objects.
皇上，所幸不能尽释其词。皇贵妃难道不想证明自己的清白吗？
好了，
It might seem reckless for Jia to so openly fight RuYi like this, but she's planning ahead. The point isn't really to get RuYi killed for adultery. Even if this plan doesn't pan out, all Jia has to do is throw enough mud on her reputation to make it so that there will be objections to RuYi becoming the next empress.
一个被情欲流言所缠绕的女子，如何能成为一国之母？
Which is why she sends her servant to talk to Ayr. Ayr is that maid who asked for the monk's bracelet, and she's being punished for so carelessly accepting something from a man from outside of the palace, which is illegal, I guess. Jia's servant convinces the maid to do something for them. When the time comes for her punishment, Ayr starts screaming about how she's being unfairly beaten when RuYi has done so much worse. With that, the small rumors become practically fact. The emperor decides to take SuoXin in for questioning.
必得用刑。
Me too, Liu. RuYi is placed under house arrest and is still confined on the emperor's birthday a few days later. Though she's not allowed to attend the banquet, she sends a gift for him through Hailan. Hailan gets the food, which seems like it should be sent directly to the emperor, but through best friend telepathy, after spotting a hint in the attached poem, she opens up the bun and finds a bracelet inside, almost identical to the alleged affair bracelet. She heads back into the party, and she, Yunche, and Liu share some conspiratorial glances. Hailan gets the bracelet to Yunche, who passes the bracelet to Liu, who heads back to the emperor's palace. Hailan's job is to stall the emperor until Liu gets back. As the emperor is getting ready to leave, Hailan quickly tells him she has a gift for him from RuYi. Cakes she made along with a note for his good health. It has the opposite effect though, as he pockets the note and then immediately decides to head out, which is bad news for the plan. Liu moves quickly, replacing the evidence bracelet with the one that Hailan gave him. It seems like he'll be caught by the emperor coming back, and then Yanwan shows up.
令贵，
Who would have thought she would be the one to save the day? Yanwan makes a show of begging the emperor not to punish RuYi, as she couldn't possibly have done what they say. Obviously just trying to curry favor with RuYi, but whatever, we'll take the help wherever we can get it. Liu replaces the bracelet just before the emperor gets back. I am sweating.
你怎么回来了？
回来拿条盖毯给您送过去。
Liu is the coolest and I love him so much. We see why the birthday note affected the emperor so much. It's written in exactly his handwriting. A not so subtle message from RuYi: handwriting can be copied, you blockhead. While the emperor is thinking this through at the speed of molasses, SuoXin is suffering. They are really going hard with the torture, but she won't confess to anything.
皇贵妃什么都没做。
I have never understood this line of reasoning. If you put me under torture, I will confess to whatever you want. That doesn't make it true. The emperor gets the point of the note and goes to see RuYi. He says he knows how sketchy the evidence is and he does believe she's innocent, but he has to do all this so he doesn't look biased, so everyone will know that she's innocent.
皇上要用对索性用严刑来证明臣妾的清白，臣妾不愿意。
你我情同一体，你的生命就是朕的生命。
She is so tired of him, as am I. Before he can storm off, signature move, she tells him to take a closer look at the bracelet.
皇上。
The bracelet Liu successfully swapped out earlier. One of the stones is a knockoff. Similar enough, but an esteemed monk would never have missed it. The emperor immediately puts two and two together, realizing that the conspirator must be a foreigner, as this isn't a mistake someone born and raised in Buddhism would make. He tells Liu to send some hairpins to Jia, the only foreigner in his harem.
那索性呢？
你放心，若事情查清楚了，朕自会放他出来。
皇上还未全然相信臣妾是清白的。
When Liu delivers the hairpin to Jia, she immediately recognizes the stones used as the cheaper knockoff version. Alright, so can't pin it on her. Liu then says the emperor would like to check everyone's handwriting, and could you look any more guilty? They set up a room and have the servants write out some letters, looking for someone whose handwriting is similar enough to RuYi's to fake that love letter. When it becomes obvious that Jia's head maid is purposely making her handwriting look worse than it is, she's taken in for further questioning.
为什么要带走真书？
啊，皇上有句交代，奴才浑忘。皇上说，谁的字儿要写得最别扭，也得带过去瞧瞧。
Liu is just loving this.
您可要保重龙态呀。
Zhen Shu's room is searched and they find some letters showing her handwriting is actually very good. Then, the final nail in the coffin, after testing her, she can't tell the difference between the two stones. So it looks like we have our culprit. The emperor has her sent to interrogation and sends Yuncha to go and pick up SuoXin. I love how eager they are, running off to save her. I just love our little family. When they bring her home, things aren't looking good. The wounds are bad and the clothes have stuck to the dry blood. SuoXin and the makeup are really convincing. This is another scene I cried while watching. In the end, Dr. Jiang isn't able to fix everything, and even if she can walk again, she will have a bad limp. It shouldn't have been this bad, but Jia sends a message to the interrogation department to be even more brutal than they usually are. When they're alone, Dr. Jiang kneels down and asks RuYi for a favor. That no matter what happens, he still be allowed to marry SuoXin and take care of her.
好，
The loyalty is off the charts with this one. And Liu, yes, he really likes SuoXin, but in the face of love like this, I don't exactly feel bad for him. These two are obviously meant to be, and they love each other. That can't be compared to a one-sided crush, no matter how much it hurts. Anyway, I think Liu is happy for her more than anything.
你要好好照顾索性。
RuYi promises to have them married, finally. So she did it! She finally broke her code of ethics and schemed. By replacing the bracelet, she was able to point the finger at Jia's maid, and though Jia is guilty for Ru never done anything wrong Yi, this is a big step. And truly, if it weren't for SuoXin being in danger, I don't think she would have done anything. I know some people find her attitude annoying, and I do too sometimes, but there is something so noble about how the only time RuYi will fight is when someone else is in trouble. I loved every single one of these teamwork scenes, and the suspense as well is done so well. One of the things I love about historical dramas is how high the stakes are. Imagine if the emperor caught Liu. First of all, Liu, dead. Then he might trace the bracelet back to Yuncha, dead. Then Hailan, maybe a cold palace since she has a son. And if he found out that his perfect, loyal RuYi was behind this, I don't know, he might have just burned the whole harem down. Anyway, time to see Jia get her just desserts. Till next time, thanks for watching.